Now we are actually we have this session only, so I have to. So something I have to do so that you can something at least you can take your home. Otherwise, there will be nothing. Well. So the most important thing in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is this: how to control the karmashaya, the seeds of the work. What is their impact? Now the point is, we know the pradartha, sanchita, kriyamana. Kriyamana means immediately it is working. So all these fruits of work we do. But the point is, Patanjali did not work with all those physical things. Those are physical things. He worked with the psychological thing. What happens actually, Patanjali said that the existence of human being depends upon two things. One is experience, another is response. Our existence depends on two things, our experience and response. What I am depends upon my response. What is our experience? Accordingly, I am giving my response. The whole story is that. What is the experience and what is the response? Patanjali dealt with that. And he showed the connection of this experience and response with the working seed, and that seed is taking us to the next life. So everything according to Patanjali depends upon the experience and response, because this is our present. Our present is experience and response, and that experience and response is taking us to the future or next birth. Well, so what is the experience, what is the response? According to Patanjali, there are three types of experiences, and the responses practically only one. Let us see this picture. According to Patanjali, there are three types of experiences. One is good experiences, one is very evolved experiences, and another is ordinary experiences. Good, better, best. The best experience is the spiritual experiences. Good experiences are the academic experiences, and general experiences are our day-to-day experiences. We cannot control our experience, because we have to have our experience always. How we can have our experience? Through our senses, because our connection with the world is through our senses. We have five senses, that is the connecting medium with us and the world. So we are connecting with the world with five senses. We cannot manage those senses. I cannot tie one cloth on my eyes. I cannot plug my ears with something. So we have to open it, we have to eat, otherwise we cannot survive. So we cannot have any control over these five senses. We have to keep five senses open. And if we open our five senses, we must have the experience. We have to see things. We have to taste things. We have to listen things. We have to feel things. And those things give us experiences. So we don't have any control over our experiences. If we have the experience, we give our response accordingly. And all these experiences come to us in the form of ripples in our mind. Take the example. If you throw a stone in a lake, what will happen? The ripples will come up. If the stone is bigger, the ripple will be bigger. If the stone is smaller, the ripples are smaller. So all these events outside, what is going on outside, are nothing but the stone, and it hits us in our mind's lake and it generates ripples. We become, so our reaction is nothing but these ripples. We react towards the ripples. So we cannot have any control over the external world, because we have to see, we have to feel, we have to eat, we have to listen, we have to taste. And all these experiences generate ripples. But we have to react to those ripples. So only one I have control, only one thing, and that is towards the reaction. So our existence and our personality depends upon our reaction. How you are reacting to the events, incidents, what is going on. And actually, this pain and pleasure, anger, everything is not the incident. These are our reaction. Event is going on. An accident took place in this road. A beautiful marriage ceremony is going on. It will go on according to its own way. Things will happen outside according to its own way. What I want to say, you don't have any control over that. I would say according to my own will. You cannot plug your ears. You have to listen that. Now, you have only one control, that is how you are reacting to the listening. So this listening, this happening is generating some ripples, and you are reacting towards that ripples. So some marriage ceremony is going on according to its own way. Now, how you react to that marriage ceremony? Are you becoming jealous? Are you becoming very happy with that? Are you becoming very sorry? So it depends upon you, because you are reacting towards that. So our pain, our pleasure, our anger is a reaction of the events, what is going on outside. This is the thumb rule. Do you have any question? Yes.
So when you say we don't have any control, but the idea is, so okay, we have senses and all, right? And you say experiences, I understand that, but I am the subject, and it is up to me how to use those senses, right? That's what we say many times in the Karma Yoga, that it is your choice. You can define what to see, what to eat, what not to think. So isn't that some control on our part? But yes, there are external events where we don't have any control. So isn't that a mixture of these two in some way?
Exactly not. Whether you are going to the road and you are seeing something happen there, you have the authority whether you will look at it or not. That's wonderful. But what you are seeing, that also creates some kind of problem on you. We cannot close our eyes, we cannot control our things. Very small, one or two things we can avoid. That is a very small thing we can avoid. But as a social being, we have to participate in everything. And if we have to participate, the ripples, the experience, it is must. And if it is experience, now the reaction is in your hand. So these are all reactions. Actually, Patanjali psychologically worked on this particular aspect. What he said, this experiences has two components. One, when the event is going on, then we have some kind of experience, and this experience is going to our unconscious. Now the Freud came. It was Freud who first said in this world, as Kapila said, first in this world there is a conscious and non-conscious. Exactly in the same way, Freud was the first person who said there is an unconscious and conscious level in our mind. So sometimes unconscious and something is conscious. So maximum part of our mind is unconscious. Only a little thing is conscious. What we think a thought, what we consider a thought, is going on in our conscious. Thousands of thoughts are simply sitting in our unconscious. We have no access. We don't know. And we don't have any control over our unconscious. You are very serious of your meditation and spiritual life. And you are thinking that on particular day is a very sacred day. I would observe full day spirituality. I shall fast, and I shall come to the temple, and I shall meditate. Wonderful. You fast and you came there, and then you start meditation. Suddenly, a thought pops up in your mind. A thing happened 10 years ago in your childhood, and that bothered you. A very, very bad experience it had. And your spiritual life, your meditation, everything bundled. So, we don't have any control on our unconscious. Anytime anything may pop up. Now, and this popping up will react or reenact or replay the exactly same thing what happened at that time. And then what is happening actually? First, something is happening outside. It gives us some kind of experience to us and we react. When we react that thing, it goes to our unconscious and it stays there. And whenever and how we don't know, it pops up and gives us trouble. So this is two things. One, something is happening, it gives us experience, we are reacting towards that incident, and it will go to our unconscious. And they will come up as a memory. Now see the picture. The third parallel line, it is called Bhoga Vritti. Bhoga Vritti means your experiences. So the incident is going on, then the solid arrow, it is going down. So that is the first experience which is going down in your unconscious and it is sitting there. Then the dotted line, it is coming up as a memory to our conscious level. In both the cases, we are giving our reaction. And these reactions, according to Patanjali, are three. The reactions we give towards this are three. Raga. Raga means anuraga, attachment. Dvesha, anger and hatred. And fear, maya. So attachment, anger and hatred, and fear. These are the three reactions we generally give towards everything. Either we love it, or we hate it, or we are afraid of it. These are the three reactions we give. So when we are happy, this is our reaction. When we are sad, this is our reaction. When we are afraid of it, that is our reaction. Now, what is happening? The more and more we are giving reaction, the more and more we are generating the impressions. And thousands of impressions are in our unconscious. Have you heard the story of Mother Durga? So, do you know in Durga Puja there is a Sandhi Puja? And when Sandhi Puja happens, we have
Ashtami and Novi.
The junction of 8th and 9th day, 48 minutes. And what happened at that time, that is a very important, crucial period, crucial time of Durga Puja. So what happened at that time? What happened? Please.
অষ্টমী পুজো হয় সেই সময় আর নবমী আসছে আর কি
So what happened? Why it is important? Sandhi Puja is so important. Why? It is because Mother Durga at that time killed 2 furious demons. When she killed them, Asuras, Mahishasuras, I would say 80% power lost. So those 2 demons are Chandamunda and Raptabija. So Chandamunda, so that is why Mother Durga killed Chandamunda in the form of Chandi. So actually the worship of Sandhi Puja is Chamunda worship. You know who is anybody from Mysore? Have you visited the Chamunda hill?
The guy is downstairs.
So that is, and what is the concept of Rakta-bija? Do you know what is Rakta-bija? What is that?
So a drop of blood drops and it comes out. So it's kind of similar with the experiences that you're saying.
Yes.
With every drop of his blood, he will be multiplied.
Yes.
Yes.
So one drop, if it falls on the ground, 1,000 Rakta-bija is born. So it is very difficult to kill that. So exactly this is the same thing. Whenever you giving first incident, whenever you giving the reaction, it will go to your unconscious, and again it comes up. You are giving reaction, it will go again. So impressions after impressions are there in your unconscious. Okay? Now, Patanjali worked here. He says, he termed these seeds of reactions is called klesha. So innumerable seeds of kleshas are born. Why? Why?
Because of a reaction to that.
So this is the practical thing. What is the practical thing? Where should we control ourselves? This is the first control. We cannot control our senses. We cannot control the events. Only one thing we can control, and that is our reaction. And our sukha dukha, our happiness and sorrow, our hatred and anger is nothing but our reaction either to our thoughts or to the events outside is happening, or towards our memory which is popping up. Okay?
Maharaj, one question for clarification. There are three major samskaras.
I have already mentioned that there is good, better, best.
Okay.
So best is the spiritual rhythms. Our thoughts, our experience always come through rituals. So our supersensuous experience is also rituals. Otherwise, we don't have any experience. So all the experience has nothing but rituals. But those rituals has no very adverse reaction. It's a kind of joy. Definitely it is a kind of joy. But if it is tremendous joy, means kind of joy, that is also a kind of bondage. Then the education. Education also doesn't have very harmful adverse reaction. You have studied and you remember that. It came up as a memory. You are not very happy, you are not very sad. It's a kind of moderate, But only the bhoga, few things are there. You become so happy, you become so sad, and it depends upon your intensity. The depth of the impressions are depend upon the intensity of your reaction. Now the question is, who is doing that? How is doing that? Who is restoring this? Who is storing this? What reaction will come? Everything depends, according to Patanjali, on on the intensity of the reaction. How long it will fructify in your next life? What is the percentage of implementation of those things? Depends upon the intensity of that. Now, Patanjali's first thing is don't react. Whether something is going on outside, don't react. If something pops up in your memory, don't react. Now, how to do that? That is the next question. This is my talk and I will end. There are various ways. I would share only one. Okay? Let me take off the slide and tag to share. So any question here after this? We have understood the reaction and everything. So these reactions are the thoughts, are the memories, everything. Okay. Have you heard the term Pratipoksha Bhavana? What is that?
Opposite of what is happening.
Poksha means in favor. Pratipoksha means opposite. So I would only share with you the Pratipoksha Bhavana, how you can get rid of this kind of reaction. I would share with you only one technique, and that is Pratipoksha Bhavana. The opposite thinking. Opposite thinking is very simple, and you can find this Pratipoksha Bhavana in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra and in Buddhism also. Mahapurush Maharaj, having Shivanandaji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, he also gave the example of Pratipoksha Bhavana. He also explained this. He also explained the Pratipoksha Bhavana, example of Pratipoksha Bhavana. So he says, if you are living in a palace of a king and you are sleeping on a beautiful cot in a very cold night, just think the opposite. You should think that you're under a tree and you are sleeping on the open ground. Just feel yourself. And when you are really under a tree, you just think yourself that you are in a palace on a beautiful cot, sleeping in a luxurious hall room. So this is the opposite thinking. So you think just opposite. Take another example. It is an extreme example he gave. Take another example. If you are attending a mega marriage ceremony, a huge party is going on, and you are there, and you are enjoying that, huge food, variety of foods, just think yourself that there are a number of poor, small kids, they don't have 1 square meal in a day. and they are suffering, hungry. Just think that. So this is the opposite thoughts. What it is doing actually? It is helping us to prepare our mind to face the reality. So if we simply blown, that means we are experiencing the good thing and joy. So these will give some deep impression in us and that will trouble us. So this balancing thing will help us to make us steady. Now this is a simple Pratipoksha Bhavana, opposite thinking. Now I am going to one step further on this particular Pratipoksha Bhavana. It has some deeper psychological practice also that I am going to say. Let me pull down the Pratipoksha Bhavana slightly. This is the Patanjali Yoga Sutra 2.33, and see how the Pratipoksha reaction is going on. This one is laughing, one is positive, one is negative. You know, these are the Pratipoksha Bhavana, these are the balancing. Now, how we can do this Pratipoksha Bhavana? I have already mentioned the very simple thing. The deeper thing is that when we think anything, it has two components. One is the image and another is the feeling, emotion. Whatever we think, it has two components. One is image, another is feeling. And image and feeling is going together, always. Now, the Pratipoksha Bhavana is that just separate the feeling from the image. How we can do that? Take a very simple example. Take the example of Girish Chandra Ghosh. What happened with Girish Chandra Ghosh? Girish Chandra Ghosh was the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and he was tremendous drunkard, and he used to drink always, and he came to Sri Ramakrishna. What Sri Ramakrishna told him? Did Sri Ramakrishna tell him stop drinking? What he said?
Divinify it.
Huh?
Divinify it, I guess.
Yes. So, whenever you will drink, please think of me. So what was the result? When he was drinking, he saw Sri Ramakrishna is existing inside the glass. and he could not take that. What happened actually? Image and feeling. These two go side by side always. Now what Sri Ramakrishna instructed, separate the image from the feeling. So his feeling and his image was drinking. Because inside, knowingly or unknowingly, he was imagining that he is drinking the bottle of wine, etc., etc. What Sri Ramakrishna did, he just separated the image and the emotion and feeling. That is what we want. That is real Pratipoksha Bhava. If some anger, some hatred, some bad thing comes in our mind, just replace either feeling or image with a bigger divine holy image. That's all. How to get rid of this reaction? That is our question. Event is going on, our memory is popping up. How we can get rid of or take us away from the reaction? This is the way Pratipoksha Bhavana. Separate your feeling from the image. That's the technique. As for example, some bad thoughts is coming. It has some image, it has some emotion. Just separate it. Connect some image with the divine image. If emotion is separate the emotion. Bring the emotion when you are meditating, when you are in a very good situation with the association of the holy company. Just try to replace that feeling with others. So this is Pratipoksha Bhavana. So, two things. Don't react. First thing is don't react. It is the feeding. In computer, if you feed in the hard disk, it will stay forever. Our mind is just like that. Just like a sophisticated gadget. I call it is sophisticated gadget. In the iPhone X, if you can delete something, it will never be deleted. It will give you a delete list. Deleted list, and you can browse it anytime, isn't it? In computer also, if you delete, it will go, but the delete list they will give, and you can browse that anytime. So never be deleted anything from this sophisticated. Our mind is just like that. From our mind, what we are experiencing, what is we are seeing, what is listening, what is thinking, everything will permanently give the impression in our unconscious. And it will pop up. So what to do? First, don't try to feed it in your unconscious. How you can do that? Don't feed it in unconscious, that is the first. How you can do that? Right?
Don't react.
Yes, but another way is there. Take the example. You have come from your home to this temple. And on the way, how many faces you have seen? A lot of faces you have seen. How many faces you can remember right now? Not a single face. But you have seen them, isn't it? So what is happening? Why you cannot remember right now not a single face? What are they? But you have seen them. It is because it has not gone to your unconscious. We have two types of memory. One is just the surface kind of memory, and one is different type of memory. Long-term memory and short-term memory. I have to do a telephone call. I forget the telephone number. I asked, what is the telephone number? Oh, 408-261, da da da. And you chunking it, and you just dial it, and you forget. That's the short term. Long term memory, you have to fill it in your unconscious. Then it will stay automatically. So what happened in this case, you did not put it inside. So the point is, Swamiji described it, analyzed it in his Raja Yoga, probably in Raja Yoga or in Jnana Yoga, either of that. He said, thousands of people we come across, but only one or two people we can remember. Why? It is, Swamiji's answer is because of personality. What is the personality? Our spiritual life. Swami explained it, it is our spiritual life. So the point is that we are not remembering those places because it has not done tomorrow. So the first thing, you see, we are doing that. Unconsciously we are doing that. So please don't feed in your unconscious. That's the first. I call it, I term it spiritual maturity. Try to become spiritually matured. So how to control that? That is the maturity. A small kid, so that is why it is said, Sri Ramakrishna said, try to become a childlike simplicity. Child. They do not put it in the unconscious. They cannot remember that. So what we have to do first, don't feed it in your unconscious. If you feed to your unconscious, it will stay forever, it will pop up. No. If we somehow or other cannot do that, then it will pop up, it will go to the unconscious. Okay. So when it will go to the unconscious, it will pop up. No way. We don't have any control. When it will pop up, don't react. How you can do that? Don't react. Number one, try to concentrate on the means, not to the work, not to the goal. It is again Swami Vivekananda's theory, work and its secret. So what you will do, try to concentrate on the means, don't concentrate to the goal. When it will pop up, there are various ways actually. I don't go to all those intricate things, but there are various ways we can do that. We can handle our unconscious. But the thing is that try to concentrate on your means. If you concentrate on your means, then that will be good. And this mindfulness, what is now all are practicing this mindfulness. So the point is that our mind is always, if you play with our mind, the nature of our mind is that either our mind plan for future or our mind procrastinate the past. This is the characteristics of our mind. Very rarely we stay in the present. So exactly same thing is happening when we reflect or react. When we react, it is the past thing we are reacting. So our mind is in the past. Or we are anticipating some future thing. So if we are in the present, at that time we generally do not react. So our mind, we just calm and quietly, it's a practice. Again, it is maturity. And again, try to keep your mind in the means, what you are doing, that is the means, not the goal. And I would suggest you to go through Swami Vivekananda's Work and Its Secret in Karma Yoga. So this is another one. And the third point is that it is Pratipoksha Bhavana. So just detach, first think the opposite thinking, and then just detach the feeling and the impression and the image. So these are the few things you have to practice and can control your emotions, can control your kleshas. The more kleshas, the more impressions are there, that is called samaskara. The impression, the sum total of the impressions in our unconscious is called samaskara. The more samaskaras are there, the more kleshas, the more reactions are there, the more karmashaya is there. So these are the karmashayas, kleshas, that will actually fructify to our next life. The more you give reactions, the more kleshas, more fructifies, and that will gives us, take us to the next life, and that will not only that, that will drag down you to the same act. When you are angry, so that is. And in Bhagavad Gita, you can find step-by-step theory. It is second chapter from verse number probably 56. What is that? No. Dhyayato Vishayanpurusha. 62. Dhyayato Vishayanpurusha. Please chant that. So you are pranashyati, you are destroying yourself. But what is the cause? What is the cause? Can you explain them? What is the meaning of that?
When you think about any object continuously, you will get attached to it. When you get attached to it and you don't get that object, you will get angry. From anger comes delusion. From delusion, you will forget your true nature. And from that,
discriminating faculty. If you are angry, your discrimination will not work. Anger makes one mad, isn't it? Blind and mad. You become frenzy. Discrimination cannot work if you are angry. And when you will become angry, if you want something, you cannot get that. So how this want comes? If you are very closely associated with that. See, first starting is association. Dhyayato Vishayanpurusha. If you meditate some kind of thing. Meditation means deep thinking. Meditation means you are putting that in your unconscious. So if you put something in your unconscious, then sangastesu pajayate, sangha, association. You will become associated with that. Become very close with that. If you think, okay, just take the example, okay? You like your pet, small dog, okay? You have that. Take the example. But you don't have that. Now you are thinking, seeing the picture, you are thinking that always you are brooding to that dog. You are just nurturing that thought. What will happen? You are meditating that. So you have become associated with that. And when you will be associated, desire will pop up. When desire will pop up, You want to get that. And when you want to get that, probably your husband or your father or your parents will say no. If you cannot get that, you will become angry. And when you will become angry, what will happen? You will become deluded. Anger makes you mad. You will become deluded. And when you become deluded, your discrimination faculty will not work. What is good, what is bad. That discrimination faculty will not work. And when your discrimination faculty will not work, you will destroy yourself. So you will be destroyed. So the first thing is, don't meditate. Don't nurture thought. Once upon a time, one day, a thought, a small tiny bubble came to one's mind. And he nurtured that, slowly, thought that, studied that. At that time Google was not there. So he studied that, nurtured that, shared that with somebody. And slowly, slowly, it became the atom bomb. And it was through Manasika. Just see, a tiny bubble, nurtured. Don't nurture, don't give any importance to nurturing. Not good, not bad. Don't feed that to your unconscious. Yes. How you can do that?
A lot of questions, but I think I cannot even frame them properly. But one thing I will still ask. This is like uprooting the whole existence of what we are. In some way, when you talk about this, then there is no meaning of any ambition, no meaning of any goals in your life, because anything you want, you have to concentrate, you have to be passionate about it to attain that.
Yes, passion.
Even the scientists or the doctors or anybody, all of them. Oh,
Give me one. I have understood.
Yes.
Because this is not the first time
Yes.
I come across this question. I was giving Bhagavad Gita class, Generally still now we are doing in Bartlett. I give Bhagavad Gita class on Thursday evening. So I saw a young lady came, a young girl came in my class. That was her first day. And I gave, probably at that time we were discussing Karma Yoga, the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So I was explaining. After that I opened the floor for question answer. Immediately that lady raised her hand. What? I work in a corporate sector. Sure. In our training, they say we must be positive to our work. If we don't possess to our work, kind of positiveness to our work, we cannot do well. So this kind of attitude we must have. But you are saying that we have to get rid of that thing. Exactly the question you asked. If you want to get, but my answer is, there is no contradiction between ambition and attachment. Take one example. The monks of the Ramakrishna order, they do the relief work in India, And our relief work has a typical pattern. The pattern is that we don't do the temporary relief work. We start from temporary relief work. The food, dry food, we give any kind of thing. Then slowly we supply the cooked food. Then slowly we supply the raw vegetable or raw rice and dal and all those things. Then slowly we construct school, community hall, building, and then we give training to the village women. So then we withdraw. A big project, we did this in Andhra Pradesh, Vivekananda Bridge and everything, I don't know whether you know it or not. We did many places such kind of Sundarban, we did Sundarban, we did in Mendipur, we did plenty of things. The whole community, Vivekananda Nagar, or some kind of thing established there. So this kind of relief generally take 5 years, 3 years to finish the project. Now, a monk is working there. He worked there 5 years or 3 years, whatever you matter. And he works there intensely, wholeheartedly. When the work is completed, take the example of Uttarakhand relief. The plant Uttarakhand relief, everything they did, the whole community they developed. So when they withdraw after 4 years, 5 years, they are fine. They never cried. They wholeheartedly worked there. They are withdrawn, and they were posted some other places, and there they work. I am working in Berkeley. I try my best to give my best thing to Berkeley, and if they will move me to another place, I will not cry. I have to go there and I will work, and I shall give the same thing. So, wholehearted work with full sincerity, has no contradiction with the good work, or so attachment is not, the attachment has no connection with sincerity and wholehearted work. A doctor is operating with full sincerity. He is operating. Operation is done. So detachment and good work, sincere work, there is no any problem with these two things. So what we have to do actually, we have to practice. Again, spiritual maturity. What is actually needed? What I would say, if you have to 7-pack in your belly, you have to go to the gym. Otherwise, you will have my permission.
So I don't have the conflict on the point of detachment. But then people who do evil, just the example you gave about the atom bomb, we can see that from another viewpoint, that from their perspective they might be also detached with any outcome which may happen because of their actions, and they are totally and convincingly working on what they believed in, and they kept working on that with, from their perspective as a detached person, that wholeheartedly I'm working on that idea, but I'm not attached to the outcome of that, whatever may happen. So how would you reconcile the...
My point actually is not the detachment from the work. I am not discussing here karma yoga. My point is actually where I am focusing actually, I am focusing how you can keep away yourself from the reaction, not showing the reaction. That is my point actually. I am not going the detached from your work or all those things. have a lot of theories. But what I am actually right now focusing, how you can get yourself aloof from the reaction to the events, reaction to your thoughts. Because the more you give your reaction, the more you will suffer. Why you will suffer? Because it will go refresh, it will give another logic for this. It is called laws of mass action. This is the last thing probably. I don't know what's the time.
8:15. We have time.
How much time we have?
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
You can finish early, Maharaj.
Okay.
And there will be some songs also, if anybody wants to sing.
So that is the filler.
No, that generally happens, but
That is after my 45 minutes.
before that. Huh? Before 9 o'clock?
Who knows, Maharaj, that's way above my pay grade, but do whatever you want.
Yeah, yes.
You have the freedom, Maharaj.
So, do you know the laws of mass action? Anybody is there in chemistry? Who is the master in chemistry? So there is a laws of mass action. Laws of mass action theory is saying that if there is two elements, now these two elements are reacting each other, the time of reaction and the direction of reaction, it depends upon the mass of the elements. So, this theory holds our unconscious. What? There are two things in our unconscious. One is good, one is bad. So the mass, which one is heavier, that will dominate the others. So why we should do good? The answer is laws of mass action. Feed your unconscious with good thought, good talking, good work, good things, so that what will happen? The good component in your unconscious will become heavier, and that will dominate. When the bubble will pop up, the good bubble will pop up. One of the senior Swamis in our order, he gave, probably you have heard this, he used to give one example. The example of ink pot. Have you heard this example of ink pot? You heard that? Yes. What is that?
You have to go on washing the ink pot because ink doesn't leave so easily.
So, an ink pot, you are given an ink pot, okay? And you are told that you do not wash in your hand, but you have to make it clean and transparent. What you will do? You do not throw the ink, and you do not wash it in your hand, but you have to make it clean, transparent. What you will do? This is a riddle.
Keep adding water.
Yes. So what you will do actually, you have to put the ink pot under a flow of pure good water. So it will flow and flow and flow, and the bad black water will come up, and one time will come when the ink pot will be full of fresh water and transparent. The same thing is going on in our unconscious. Do good thing, think good thing, and it will, you are pouring good thing in your unconscious, and it will overpower the bad and be full of good. So when memory will come out, with the good thoughts. So that is very important, what we have to do. In this way, we can get rid of the reaction. But again, remember, Swami Vivekananda said that happiness, joy is also bondage. Sadness is also bondage. Happiness is also bondage. One is golden chain, one is iron chain. So get rid of both. So now the question is, if you get rid of both, does it mean a complete insentient stone? No. Why? It is because our real nature is joyful. If we can become completely simple without any reaction, a kind of inert, that is a state of joy. Because we are basically joyful. If you can get rid of all the coverings, now what we are trying actually to make ourselves happy by promoting ourselves with something with the help of external things, which is not real. We are always trying to make ourselves happy by some external things, which is not permanent. Can we make ourselves permanently happy with the impermanent things? And the external things are not in our hand. Only I am in my hand. Again, another book, it is my favorite book, written by Erich Fromm, very old book. To have or to be. There, Erich Fromm showed that having more and being more, if you have the possession, the possessiveness, if you possess something, if you have something, it is a having mode, there is a risk of losing. But if you are being, you are that, there is no risk of losing that thing. So you are that. That is why it is suggested that you become that. Try to become that thing, not having that thing. Having means you are separate from your possessions. Being means you are one with that. You are that. So it is a being mode. We have to elevate ourselves as a being mode, not the having mode. Now, again, question. Any question? Everything finished?
No. You have a question, right?
Yeah,
Where is the, microphone? No, cheap.
But everyone says life is full of suffering or hardships. So you think you're doing the right thing, but things don't come your way, so you keep thinking that you're doing your best, and then you just say life is like that. So how you cannot detach from the results.
That is why you don't have, I already mentioned, you don't have any control over the event. Things may come to you, things may not come to you. But your happiness, your suffering is the reaction towards that thing. That is in your hand, whether you will react, how you will react. So here comes the discrimination, definitely. I am not talking about discrimination though. So your reaction, main important thing is that how you are giving your reaction. Always remember, if you react in three ways. Either you become very happy, or you become very angry, or jealous, or hatred, or fear. Sad means if you are not happy, you are sad. That's it. So fear, hatred, anger, and joy. These are the three main reactions. Joy and sorrow, both. So this is the main reaction. So please don't give your reaction to anything else. That is in your head. Now you have come to know that reaction is the problem. Get rid of reaction. And how you can do that? That is your practice. I have already given you few suggestions. Try to practice. And these are very useful and it can be applicable at any time. But one thing you have to do, generally what we do, we sit on the bank of the ocean and we think whether we should go to take tea or not. That's the question. So what we do actually, we try to analyze what is going on there, don't do that. Only when we can do that, at that time we come to know whether it is helpful or not. Simply sitting and analyzing cannot help, because there are logic, anti-logic, sub-logic, there are thousands of arguments and thoughts are there. Our mind is supporting that, our mind will negate that. But ultimately we cannot do anything. So these are the, because I gave you a suggestion. Now you have to think over it. So unless you think, it will not go to your unconscious. Just think. You have to brood on it. You have to make it unconscious. And then only it will come out. Then only you can work with that. So if you only think that, it will not go to the unconscious. You have to bring it to the unconscious. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna suggested Holy Mother, not Holy Mother actually, Lakshmi Devi, that whenever you don't have any work or you are simple idle, discuss with your aunt what have been discussed here. He used to say in this way, what I have discussed, he never said. The word I, he never uttered. So he said, what has been discussed here, please discuss that. So that discussion will deepen your impressions. That is good discussion, good thought, good work, good reading is very important.
Maharaj, I may have missed that part, but I thought you still owe me those two answers. One is who decides how much, I mean not me, to the world. The one was how to, who decides how much of Sanchit Karma will be used in Prarabdha? And secondly, as we act every day, I understand what you just now said. You said do not react, so you will not add any bubble, any seeds into that underground, so that there will be less negative bubbles, there will be good things coming out. So I can know that. Is that the answer to my second question, that whether anything will go into the, you said, some kosha, what was that? Karmashaya. Karmashaya is up to us, because even if there is a negative or whatever event happening, if we refuse to react to it in that way, then I am not adding, even if it looks like something is happening, it's up to us not to add it to our savings account. Did I understand that right? For example, if I get something happens to me.
Yes. If you don't react, you do not add anything to your account.
Even if you want to, you can add good things, though they also have bondage, but this is a good kind of bondage. Okay. So that you have answered that question. Can you please answer the first question about how much of my...
Who is doing that? When this comes, who is planning that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the answer. This is the answer of the unmoving mover. Have you heard this? Unmoving mover?
A little.
Yeah.
I think I have.
It is a theory of Aristotle. Unmoved mover. So, if I move everything, there is a cause. My strength is moving that. So then my strength has other move, and that is moving there. But in this way, you go to the beginning, some person is there who is unmoved mover, who is the first mover, but he is not moving. So that is God, according to him. So, this is what we are discussing. It is the Sheshwara Sankhya, because Ishvara Pranidhana is there.
Mm-hmm.
So Kriya Yoga, I have mentioned the Kriya Yoga. Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana is Kriya Yoga. Why is Kriya Yoga? According to Patanjali, I don't know what Kriya, the Jivana on the use, different something, Jivana on the
I was saying self-realization.
Self-realization, they are doing Kriya Yoga. I don't know what kind of Kriya Yoga they are doing, but according to Patanjali, the purpose of Kriya Yoga is that it attenuated the kleshas. That means the impressions you have, samskaras, the intensity of samskara reduce by this Kriya Yoga. Can be reduced by this Kriya Yoga. So what happens if it is reduced? It cannot pop.
Okay, what are the 3 steps in the tapasya?
Tapa, Swadhyaya,
Swadhyaya
study.
practice,
Study and Japam included. And Ishvara Pranidhana.
That is great.
Yeah, you just offer yourself at the feet of the Lord. So that is Ishvara Pranidhana. So Tapa, Swadhyaya, Tapa means austerities, not only austerities.
Practices.
Yes, the practices of tapas. Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. This is called Kriya Yoga. It will attenuate your impressions, kleshas. And that is why it will not pop up. If it will not pop up, you do not react. And slowly, it will become, he referred, burnt seed. But Vyasa said, because it was important, those seeds will become important, samskaras will become important. But Vyasa said that in sometimes this Dattavija also sprouts.
That's just terrible.
Sometimes what?
So it's better to be a
Even the bird seed also sprouts.
There are seeds. If you burn those seeds, it never sprouts.
The door is closed.
Door is closed. But sometimes, if you burn a huge quantity of seed,
one may escape.
somehow or other something may come up.
That's so messed up.
Beyond alert.
So burn seed is not the end.
Beyond the God.
So the bhavana, just imagine these people, how far they went. What is the standard of their perfection? Don't you think that this is a kind of research?
Yeah.
Einstein did the research. Bohr, Einstein, all this, they did the research, But this is also another kind of research. Yes.
Two related topics. One is, there is this business of grace, like the Holy Mother says. Maybe you would have gotten a huge cut with a sword, instead you got a thorn get pricked. And you just now mentioned that. You just now mentioned that these were. Yeah, you can reduce that. But there is also grace. That means there is not only this unmover, but there are also some conscious people, such as Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, instead of 28 points, you will now have 22 negative points or something. Is that real? I mean, I heard it is real. Or is it within my mind?
I cannot understand your question.
Can
you are talking about grace?
Yeah, can the avatara reduce?
Can avatara reduce our
yeah.
samskaras or not?
If it is total machine, like you said before.
It is very simple. It is very simple. Now, you actually told me that. Here you have discussed in the first session later. So what we are doing, we do not mess up everything. If we talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutra, means very strictly, what we generally don't do that. If we talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutra, please try to follow Patanjali.
Okay.
If you consider grace, just consider grace. If you consider Vedanta, just talk about Vedanta. If generally what we do, we just mixed up everything. So one philosophy, when we are talking about one philosophy, go ahead with one philosophy. But in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, definitely Ishvara Pranidhana is there, so grace is there. It is included in Patanjali Yoga Sutra.
I will not make a new question. I was just going to comment that even Shankara, the great sword runner of Advaita, he also says three things are needed: this, and Devanugraha.
No, actually Shankara's case is a little bit different, Shankara's case is that Shankara was a complete teacher. He was a world teacher. So he completed everything. As for example, Swami Vivekananda, as for example, Sri Ramakrishna, as for example, other world teacher, they cannot be one-sided. They are complete, whole, full. They are complete. So Shankaracharya is the complete thing. So he emphasized Advaita, but he also gave some kind of explanation of Dvaita also, because he is the world teacher. He respects everything.
And he made these great songs.
That is definitely.
Maharaj. Thank you so much for the brilliant discourse and this samvada. Samvada. The book you mentioned for Eric Fromm, what is the title of that book?
To have or to be.
To have to be. Thank you.
Can you see that book? To have or to be Eric Fromm.
This is the German psychologist. Yeah.
Eric is very famous.
Yeah.
Because he is an existential.
Yeah. 40s, 1940s. FROMM, I think.
Fromm, F-R-O-M.
Yeah.
So Maharaj, one more question is, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what is the purpose of life? Like what is the ideal life they suggest according to Patanjali?
Liberation. That is the goal of life.
So liberation, you would say, is to realize that you are Brahman.
No.
At that point it's liberalized or
No. What is the, I can ask this question to these people. What is the way of liberation Patanjali shows?
Freedom from rebirth.
What is that?
Thank you.
How you can do that? What is the way Patanjali showed? Definitely away from rebirth. So what is the way Patanjali showed?
Samadhi.
Realization Brahman?
No, Viyoga.
Yoga. That is the way Patanjali showed.
What does yoga mean?
What does yoga mean?
Separation of Purusha and Prakriti.
Right.
But is it not that, Maharaj, separation of Purusha and Prakriti, that means the moment you realize you are the Purusha, of course you will see Prakriti as separate from you. So that is also a self-realization in a way, wouldn't you say so?
No, not at all. And what is the way? So I have to show this one. The whole Patanjali Yoga Sutra in a chart, in a single chart. I should.
And you didn't show it so long.
No.
I'm so glad you asked this question.
I forgot.
Yes.
Okay.
Ask. It's a very good question. Done it once he's shown the slide.
See, this is the Patanjali Yoga Sutra in one chart. See, the vritti and kleshas, Ashtanga Yoga and Kriya Yoga. First Ashtanga Yoga, then Kriya Yoga. Then Samadhi Matra. From Ashtanga Yoga you will have Samadhi Matra. What is that Samadhi Matra? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That Ashtanga Yoga, that is the first starting. That's the first starting. That is Samadhi Matra. And then Vairagya and Abhyasa. That will take you to the Sampragyana Yoga. Then it will come Ritambhara Pragyan, the light, inner light. It is called Ritambhara Pragyan. And then it will come Viveka Khyati. These are the term Patanjali used. So when Viveka Khyati is there, the separation starts. And then that is the Guna Kaivalya. Then again you have to continue this Vairagya, Para Vairagya Nirodha. Then Savija Sampragyata Yoga. And then again Nirodha. And then Nirvija Sampragyata. And that is the Mukhya Kaivalya. A separation of Purusha. So this is the practice they do. What does it mean by Nirodha? Because Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali always says about vritti. Nirodha means vritti nirodha. What is yoga? Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. So you have to reduce, you have to nirodha the chitta vritti. So how this chitta vritti is nirodha? Vritti means from one wave to another wave. Okay? So we think we are thinking a continuous thought, but it is not continuous thought. It is different vrittis of same thought. And this vritti, what is this vritti? This vritti also Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. Because vritti is Prakriti. So Prakriti means Sattvika, Tamasika, Rajasika. Isn't it? So vritti is coming up. When vritti is coming, when it is going up, that is Rajasika. At the top, Sattvika, there is no movement. And when it is going down, is Tamasika. So this is Sattvika, Tamasika, Rajasika. And from one wave to another wave, there is a split. That is Nirodha. So when you can increase that split, there is nothing, no vritti. That is vritti Nirodha. That is Chitta vritti Nirodha. You understand that? So that gap you have to extend. That is the mechanism of Chitta vritti Nirodha.
And it is the practices will help you to.
Yes. The practice means concentration. Here everything is concentration. The concentration and this Vairagya and Nirodha. So Vairagya and Nirodha. So what is that? This is yoga is Chitta vritti Nirodha. What is meditation? The concentration means higher type of meditation. So what is meditation? The definition of meditation is that Pratyaya Ekotanuta. This is the explanation Vyasa gave. What is Pratyaya? Pratyaya Ekotanuta. Ekotanuta means same rhythm. Tana. Ekotana. So same rhythm. What is Pratyaya? Pratyaya is the content of Pratyaya. If throw a stone, if stone is bigger, then there is a heavy rhythm. If stone is smaller, the rhythm is lesser, smaller. So that content, that is the content of vritti. So that stone is pratyaya. So same pratyaya, pratyaya ekotanata, the same pratyaya you must maintain. Your content of thought must be in meditation. What is the meditation? In meditation, we try to fix our object of meditation. Isn't it? So that means why? Because object of meditation is pratyaya, the content of your vritti. So we are trying to maintain same content of our vritti. That is the definition of meditation according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra. You understand that? So if we maintain one vritti, then ekagrata, they say that will come. But this ekagrata is samadhi matra. This is not samadhi. Then after tyaga and vairagya, that is a sattvika vritti. So when with tyaga and vairagya, still after tyaga and vairagya, then in meditation you must continue. But tyaga and vairagya, tyaga and vairagya, what will you do? Then you will all will become Dagda Bija by practicing Kriya Yoga, and then it will come at a point, Tyaga and Vairagya, that Nirodha will start. See, that Para Vairagya, so Nirodha and Para Vairagya, slowly one by one it will come. Guna Kaivalya, so Guna means the qualities, name and form, it will go. Guna Kaivalya will come. Then Para Vairagya, still you continue the Vairagya and Nirodha, and then Sabija Sampragyato, Sabija, Bij will be there. Sampragyato Samadhi will come, but Bija will be there. Then again Nirodha, continue the Nirodha, and then Nirvija Sampragyata, Asampragyata will come. And that is the final separation of Purusha. This is the whole scheme of Patanjali.
Just for the new people, I just wanted to say Tyaga means renunciation, or Vairagya means dispassion. That's it.
Anything? Any question?
Hey, you had a question?
I have a question.
Shall turn on the machine?
It could be. I just had a question. Is Patanjali a person?
Oh yes, definitely.
Who was he?
He was a god, or at least avatar, I would say.
I thought it was just a theory.
Theory?
Is there somebody?
So if there is a theory, some person is behind that,
Right.
who developed that theory? Patanjali. Patanjali is a person actually, who analyzed this Patanjali system. And you know, in India,
In what way is there a numerical value when he was
yeah.
time?
Yes, definitely historian, they found something probably 16 AD or something like that. They found some historical data there, but you know,
There are many theories on Patanjali, no complete answer.
Panini developed that and Patanjali explained that, analyzed that, and definitely there is Vyasa and who is Vyasa, all kinds of things.
One theory says he came from Sarvaloka.
Yes, but how many lokas are there? Sarvaloka?
Sarvaloka.
That's what he was saying.
I thought there were only three, heaven, hell and what?
Who knows?
Yes.
These are, we must not ignore or disrespect this theory, because this theory has some impact in human mind, but you know, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, you came here to eat mangoes. What is the use of counting the leaves? So try to get what Patanjali, in the name of Patanjali, what teachings we are getting. What use of who was Patanjali, which year he came, what he did, whether he was
He used a cane or not.
black or white, what is of that?
Thank you.
So good commentary of Patanjali Yoga Sutras is through, we can read from Swami Vivekananda's works, or is you
No, I
suggest
told
any?
you Swami Vivekananda, please remember that.
Right.
Which Swami Vivekananda, which commentary followed?
He didn't follow the
He followed
Yes.
Both.
Yes.
Right.
He followed the Bhoja.
Bhoja.
Yeah. So,
But
best Patanjali's commentary, I would say, I suggest you Hariharananda. Hariharananda.
He gave it in the
He followed
first session. I have read
that.
that.
He has followed that. Recently, one of our devotees, he bought that book. I told him, please show me that book. I saw that, but here he got that from somewhere. He got that
Yeah, we can get everything.
either from Amazon or something that. So I would suggest that if you try to make your if you try to make your library enriched, so please buy Hariharananda to keep it. So those are the authentic books.
All right, Maharaj.
So those are these Akar Granthas actually. Time is over?
1 minute.
1 more minute?
5.
Oh, 5 minutes. Somehow or rather I managed 40 minutes. Anyway, but I would say it is not so easy to give the whole account of Patanjali Yoga Sutra in these 2 sessions.
6 years.
Maharaj, you now know, and I now know why you did this, so that we can keep on bringing you over. Remember, Maharaj, you only could do 2 sessions, so you are